On today's Primetime Local News, seniors' healthcare is top of mind as the concerned citizens for senior care hold their AGM. And the CFL season kicks off. We have a look at the highs and lows. Plus, Lloydminster's Filipino community come together to celebrate their culture.
Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Seniors' healthcare was top of mind today as Lloydminster Concerned Citizens for Senior Care Society held their annual general meeting today. Long-term care space in Lloydminster was one of the top concerns for the society. They say Lloydminster will need to build an additional 60 long-term care spaces by 2025, with an additional 148 beds needed by 2035.
Once you have got to a point where you can't live at home anymore, we really have a shortage, acute shortage. And our committee in the preliminary years before the pandemic started have identified the numbers as far as that is concerned. So now we want to get to work getting those built, because we know now what the numbers are.
On a positive note, both provinces have agreed to reconvene the Long-Term Care Space Committee, and the Society are hoping that leads to more action. The group says Lloydminster has even more healthcare concerns beyond long-term care.
We need that dialysis unit to get built. We need to keep expanding mental health. The ambulance service is still in a state of flux while they are working on the contracts issue there with the local provider, but that needs to get sorted out, and then the service identified of what needs to be across both sides of the city.
The Concerned Citizens for Senior Care Society meets every Tuesday at noon at the Legacy Center. The Filipino community here in Lloydminster and from surrounding area had a special event over the weekend to celebrate Philippine Independence Day along with a victory party. Our Shelby Clark has more on what all was involved.
The victory was in celebration for their new elected president and officials back home. With having a big community here, they wanted to put together all these celebrations into one event and throw a huge party.
Yeah, it's all about the victory party of and Thanksgiving party of our President-elect Bongbong Marcos and Vice President-elect Sara Duterte.
The excitement over the new officials also comes from a project they plan to continue throughout the Philippines now that they're elected.
Bongbong Marcos will gonna continue the build project of the Duterte administration. So we need the continuity of the projects throughout the Philippines.
Around 300 people came out to support the Filipino community and join in on all the festivities. This marked 124 years since the Philippines declared its independence from Spain.
Oh, they are so excited because they knew their president won, so they are so much excited. So I think everyone is having fun here, and we do have lots of foods here and everything.
After a long wait through the pandemic, many people were able to gather with the Filipino community and have a successful celebration. Shelby Clark, Primetime Local News.
City officials and children attended the reveal of Co-op's Positive Pathway in Kinsman Partissa Park. The hope for the new stencil is to increase community involvement and activism.
Not only does it encourage physical activity, it helps bring our communities together, and it brings people from all ages together, so from young kids to other adults.
Anytime we can be part of bringing community together and families together, we want to be part of that. Co-op is family, is community, so we're grassroots in this city, and we want to be part of anytime we can be part of bringing families and community get together. That's very important for us, so that's why we want to get involved with this initiative specifically.
The City of Lloydminster says it takes the community to make efforts like this happen.
Town Positive is such an important piece to help people get out and enjoy. And it just adds to the trails and the sidewalks that we have throughout the city. It encourages families and kids, and we saw some young people out playing hopscotch, and it just gives them a little bit more active. And that's so important in our community because we have a short summer, in essence, and to enjoy it and be out and about is so important.
Paint the Town Positive will continue with further stencils and games being made. And now it's time for this week's edition of Retrospect. Here's Blake Nath.
This week in Retrospect. Back in '92, a local man lives life on the edge.
Greg Lightfoot spends his days inside this workshop in his home. He's been running a business out of here for the past 3 years, and for 2 of those years, he's made enough money to earn a living.
Lightfoot lives in Lloydminster. His business is called Lightfoot Knives. He makes all kinds of knives, like hunting knives, short swords, and army-style knives. And they're not cheap. Steak knives like these can cost up to $1,000. Lightfoot says his knife business is a one-man operation.
Everything from the designing to the sheaths, mounting handles, putting on guards, I did it all myself.
Lightfoot went into business for himself because he wanted the independence.
This business seemed like something I could do by myself, make a good enough living to pay the bills, and not have to answer to anybody but myself.
And stop, drop, and roll. Back in '97, the Regional Firefighter Combat Challenge kicks off.
It's the greatest job in the world, it really is.
Things are going to heat up in the Midwest this weekend. Over 40 firefighters from across the prairies will take part in the Regional Firefight Combat Challenge.
Grueling. It's the toughest 2 minutes you'll ever do.
Crews will get dressed in full gear and race their way through a grueling obstacle course. Competitors will travel through 5 simulated stations, including a 4-story climb, hoisting a 50-pound hose, forcible entry, and a victim rescue. Even a little target practice is being thrown in as the crews try to beat the clock.
It emphasizes the physical requirements of the job. This is really what it's all about. And it's good, healthy competition.
Officials say Vermilion is looking forward to host more events in the future.
We're going to keep it here. We're going to try to make it bigger and better.
Locals are invited to come out to the competition tomorrow afternoon.
See what your fire departments can do. See what these professional people see how their pride in competition. This is really what this is all about.
It's a lifestyle, it's a second family, it's a second home. As I said, the guys, they asked me in my bio, what's my favorite place? It's the fire hall. And my favorite thing to do is go to work.
And that's all for this week in Retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
And now we have a first look at your weather forecast with Shelby Clark.
Jace, now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city. We are sitting at 20. We are seeing a slightly warmer day than what we would expect, especially after through the weekend. We were seeing a mix-up of those weather conditions throughout the days. But for today, we are seeing not too bad temperature-wise for 20, but we are seeing a lot more cloudier conditions throughout the day. A little bit earlier on, around 9 to 10 a.m., it was seeing a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds, but as we went later on, it did start to get a little bit more windy, and we were seeing a lot more cloud coverage. So hopefully everybody's still enjoying their day out there, but we are going to be seeing some pretty nasty conditions later on through the week. Now switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. We are surprisingly still seeing those temperatures continue on, seeing some warmer ones in most spots on the Alberta side. Down in Wainwright and Provost, they are slightly cooler, with Provost just reaching 14 and Wainwright just under that 20-degree mark. Meanwhile, most other spots on this side are just seeing 22 and 23 degrees, and Marwayne and Cold Lake are also just reaching that 20 mark. And switching now to our Saskatchewan side, they are seeing those double digits as well, kind of matching with us on the Alberta side, kind of ranging from around 21 to 23 in most spots on this side. So we go a little bit lower. Macklin is also kind of matching with Provost there, seeing around 16 degrees. Maidstone is just under the 20 mark, and North Battleford is slightly cooler, just at 15. And for North Battleford, from that 15 mark, they will be cooling down just a few degrees there for their evening low to 12. They will be seeing those showers continue on throughout their evening. Then tomorrow they will be seeing 18 degrees throughout the day, and they will be seeing a little mixture of some sun and cloud. Switching out to Cold Lake, they'll be cooling down to a low of 14. So we are seeing some warmer temperatures for our evening lows coming up here as we head more into the summer season, but we also got the storm season coming up here, because for Cold Lake, they will be seeing those showers continue on and seeing a risk of a thunderstorm later on through the night. Then they will be seeing 16 tomorrow, with those showers kind of continue on in the morning. And then now switching over to us in the border city, we'll be seeing 12. We will be seeing some showers starting up later on in our evening. We will be seeing a high risk of a thunderstorm later on through the night, then seeing 16 degrees tomorrow, and we will be seeing those showers as well. So get ready, we're going to see some more rainfall. And ending off with our 3-day forecast for here in the border city, we will be seeing that continue on to tomorrow and Wednesday as well at 17. Then Thursday, we will be seeing a little bit more sun of your day with 23 degrees. So don't worry, we are going to see some warmer temperatures coming up here. That's all I got for now. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Week 1 of the CFL season kicked off this past weekend, with the Saskatchewan Roughriders starting in the right direction and the Edmonton Elks in the opposite. I have more with Adil Ahmed.
Well, week 1 of the CFL 2022 season was an exciting one, to say the least, as I do a preview here of the week 1 rather. I'm Adil Ahmed, alongside I have Jace Mackey with me, and we're going to discuss more about the two teams in the province here from the Edmonton Elks side and the Saskatchewan Roughriders side. We're going to start with the Edmonton Elks there. They had a rough outing, to say the least, there in week 1 against the BC Lions. 59-15 was the final, 59-15 was the final score, rather. Most points scored on the Elks in franchise history.
It was a tough one.
What went wrong for the Elks, to say the least?
It's tough to say, one thing. Basically, it seems like almost everything went wrong. Coming into this season, the Elks had a tough season last year. They're wanting to kind of bounce back, have a better year, and it's tough to start things off this way. I think you come into this game with a lot of questions. Nick Arbuckle was named starter. You have a lot of other questions. I think you come out of it with almost more questions. He played, his first few drives weren't too bad. I think he kind of started to regress near the end of that first half, and then things really didn't get that much better. He threw 3 interceptions in total. Trey Ford came in near the end of that second half too, and also had a pick. So tough offensively. Special teams, there's not much to say there. Nothing too special for them. And then the defense just completely, I want to say they look confused. It was really tough there. Obviously, a lot of new personnel in, so they're all fresh guys trying to learn a new system. So there's going to be some bumps along the way, but I don't think anyone expected them to be letting up 59 points. That's insane.
Yeah, certainly. Well, that's just not a way that you'd want to be starting off your season, to say the least. Let's go to the other side there, the BC Lions. They had a fantastic outing, to say the least. Nathan Rourke was fantastic, to say the least. 360 total yards and 5 touchdowns. What is a guy like him, who's a Canadian kid from Victoria?
It's an exciting story, yeah.
How exciting is it? What did you take out of his performance in that game?
Now, we're going to have to, I think there might be an asterisk here because they were playing against a poor Edmonton team, but, he had almost 300 yards in the air alone, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, so a great game for him. I want to also highlight James Butler, who he had 4 touchdowns. I think it was 2 on the ground, 2 in the air as well, and he only had 3 touchdowns all of last season, so it was a great game for him. Almost 100 or over 100 yards rushing as well. So it was a great win for BC overall. I think they were a team like Edmonton who are looking to rebound this year, do a little better, and I think they definitely can come out of this feeling positive. They're going into a bye and then they're playing on the road. I think me and you were talking earlier about just kind of the atmosphere around that game in BC Place I think it's something great to build off of, and hopefully they have the momentum heading into the rest of the season that they can pack the Dome once again.
Yeah, of course, certainly. Well, it was a sold-out crowd there at BC Place, but the Elks will have a chance to get some rematch from the Lions on Saturday, August the 6th. Now, switching gears, we're going to go over to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They had their matchup against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and the Riders, they had a great game. They won that game 30-13, to say the least. And defensively, it was the biggest show, to say the least, from the Rough Riders. 8 sacks on the quarterback in total from 7 different guys. What stood out to you about the Riders in that game?
Yeah, like you said, the defense was really playing well, and honestly, for both teams in the first half, they both played well defensively. It was only 3-6 for Saskatchewan at halftime, so not the most exciting game offensively, but it's exciting to see them, the defense, do well. Like you mentioned, not just one person though; they really were kind of spreading, not spreading the ball around, but they were doing well to really have their guys performing well across the board. And I think they're a team that have been doing pretty consistently well in the CFL the past few seasons, and they have some added pressure this year hosting the Grey Cup. So it's exciting to see that Cody Fajardo had a good game as well. So he didn't have any interceptions. He threw for over 300 yards, and he had 1 touchdown in the air. So great game for them. And like you said, their Saskatchewan's defense did a good job. They had 2 picks against Dane Evans, who only threw 1 touchdown in the air.
Well, certainly, it's a good thing that the Riders started off on the positive side of things there for week 1. Now we're going to go into a preview of what's to come here on Saturday, June 18th. The Elks are going to be playing at home, their first home game of the season against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Elks haven't won a game at home since back to October of 2019 when they played the BC Lions. What are you hoping to see from that matchup between the two teams, the Elks and the Riders?
I'm hoping to see how Edmonton responds. Obviously, they're going to be let's say, embarrassed after that last performance. So they're going to want to try and put on a better showing for their home crowd. Like you mentioned, they haven't won in a long time. So Edmonton last season really blew up the entire organization. They're really promoting, trying to get the community to come back out and fill Commonwealth Stadium. Saskatchewan fans, they always travel very well in the prairie, so there'll be a lot of Rough Rider fans there. Both teams have pressure. Edmonton has pressure to finally win at home and to improve things, and Saskatchewan, like I mentioned, is going to be hosting the Grey Cup this year, so they want to perform well. They want to win on the road and stuff. So we'll see how things go. I think Edmonton, definitely, I don't think many people are going to be picking them to win that game, but definitely hoping that they're able to score more than 1 touchdown in that game, and hopefully the defense can make some good stops, maybe even take away the ball a couple times from Saskatchewan.
Certainly. Well, it's going to be an uphill battle for the Elks moving forward. Of course, though, it is only week 1, so there is a long way to go. And we'll talk more about that moving forward as the season goes along. I'm Adil Ahmed. Jason Mackey, thanks so much for coming on, and we'll chat more CFL coming soon.
And now it's time to check in once again with Shelby Clark, who has a look at our weather forecast.
Thanks so much again there, Mr. Jason Mackey. Yes, now taking another look, an extended look at your weather forecast. We will be checking out different parts of the regions here of our provinces, and we are going to be starting off with our central region of Alberta and Saskatchewan. And on the Alberta side, we have cooled down just slightly in most spots, seeing it compared to what we were looking at last week for sure. Edmonton, Athabasca, Cold Lake still looking slightly warmer with 20 to 22 degrees in those spots. 17 in both Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House, while Whitecourt is just at 18, and Edson and Jasper slightly cooler. They're at 16 in Jasper and 13 in Edson. And switching now to our Saskatchewan side, they are seeing kind of the same temperatures as the Alberta side. No spots are really seeing past that 20 mark. Here in the border city, we are just reaching it, but most spots are just reaching 17, and North Battleford is still sitting at 16 degrees. Going now over to our northern zone to check them out. Surprisingly, on the Saskatchewan side, they're continuing that warm streak still getting those warm temperatures and continuing on as we head more into the summer season. So they're looking a lot warmer compared to the central area. Down in La Ronge, they are just at 18 degrees, 20 up in Wollaston Lake, while it is 22 in most spots over on this end, and it is 24, 25 even up in Stony Rapids and Uranium City. So they aren't struggling too much in the northern area. And now going back to our Alberta side, they are looking quite warm as well. Definitely seeing some warmer conditions than what they were seeing last week. 20 degrees in Grand Prairie and Slave Lake, while it's 21 in Peace River, 24 in both Fort Chipewyan and High Level, and Fort McMurray is looking the warmest there, just at 26. But as we go now over to our southern zone to check them out, they are quite struggling compared to the rest. As we were saying before, we do have that rainfall warning in effect, especially in Calgary right now. We are going to be seeing lots of rain through these next couple of days, and they're going to be hitting it hard there in the southern region. So on the Alberta side, they are seeing some slightly cooler temperatures. Lethbridge is even just seeing that single-digit point at 9 degrees. 11 in both Calgary and Banff, while it is 13 up in Coronation, and Medicine Hat is just at 15. And going over to our Saskatchewan side, they aren't looking too bad as we go a little bit over on this end. They start to warm up quite a bit compared to the Alberta side. 16 and 18 in Kindersley and Swift Current, 19 in Yorkton, and Estevan is just reaching that 20 point, and Musha and Regina are looking slightly warmer there in the central area. They're at 22 and 26 degrees. And now going back across the region, seeing what we will expect throughout our evening and throughout the night in most spots. We'll be pretty happy temperature-wise, but condition-wise, I wouldn't say so much. We are going to be seeing those double digits officially for our evening low temperatures. Provost will be seeing the coolest with a low of 9, while the rest will warm up from there, with most spots seeing around a low of 11 to 12 degrees. Bonnyville, Pearson, and Isla Cross will be seeing the warmest with a low of 14 to 16. So we're getting quite warmer for our temperatures, so we are going to be seeing warmer conditions across the region, but as you can see, we will be seeing a high chance of that rainfall continue on. So get ready to see some more rain tonight and a high chance of a thunderstorm for most spots as well. And that'll be like us for looking at our 7-day forecast. For here in the border city, we will be seeing that condition continue on for Tuesday and Wednesday, unfortunately. Then we will get a break there a little bit for Thursday, Friday, starting off the weekend. We will still be seeing those higher chances of some precipitation, but Thursday we will be seeing a little bit more sun. And then get ready because we are seeing some more storm season coming up for the weekend. That is another look at your weather forecast. Our Jason Mackey will have more news coming up after the break.
Shannon McEwen is joining us today to talk about an awesome event happening later this week. Shannon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about what is happening at the Lloyd Mall later this week. It's the carnival. Shannon, what is planned for this event?
So the carnival is coming to town. We're so excited to have them back this year. So it is a mini carnival in the Lloyd Mall parking lot. And there's going to be over 12 different rides. We do have the rides posted on our social media. So anyone that's interested in seeing what rides are there, that's where the information will be. We'll also have some concessions on site. There's also going to be some games like water racers, shoot out the star, bushel baskets, and my favorite, duck pond.
Well, Shannon, how do people get into the event? Can they purchase the wristbands ahead of time, or do you have to get it the day of that you're attending? How does that work?
So they can purchase their tickets day that they're attending. Each day will be a different, and especially if you purchase the all-day wristband, it will be a different color each day that you're attending. And the all-day wristband really is the best value for your dollar spent. So the all-day wristbands are $40, and that's unlimited rides.
Now, this has been the first time since COVID that you guys have been able to do this, correct?
That's correct. Yes. Yes.
It must be super exciting, though, to have it back.
It's so exciting to welcome back, to have the community come out, and just a fun event, right? To be able to do those events with your families.
Well, and Shannon, why do you guys do events like this? You could just keep them all going and have people going in the stores, but this is really something over and above and extra. So why do you guys feel that it's, you want to keep doing this and doing things extra for the community?
I think the community really does kind of, we want to exceed the community's expectations, and we love putting on events like this and having the community come out and attend. It also offers, we're working with a nonprofit group, so Border Paws Animal Shelter Society will be stationed out in the parking lot, and they will have an animal kissing booth set up. So there's a bit of a fun, they're able to fundraise and help them reach their fundraising goals. So again, just our ties to the community, they run deep. We've been around for almost over 45 years, so it's great to be able to offer a platform for our nonprofits to fundraise. So,
will there be any food options there as well for people who are going to this event?
There will. So the concessions that will be on site, we have mini donuts, elephant ears, cotton candy, candy apples, caramel apples, snow cones, lemon shake-ups. So there's a lot of carnival food there.
Well, Shannon, this is just going to be a great event. Can you go over the dates and times that this is going to be held, and just if people are looking for more information, again, where they can get it?
So the dates and times that the mini carnival will run is Thursday, June 16 from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Friday, June 17 from noon to 11 p.m. Saturday, June 18th from noon to 11 p.m. And then Sunday, June 19th, noon to 5 p.m. So there's a lot of time there if between that you'll be able to take advantage and come out and just have a great time.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Shannon. I know this is going to be well attended. People look forward to it. And it's like you said, it's a mini fair, great for the family. So we really appreciate it. And we direct everybody to your social media to find more information. So thank you so much for joining us, Shannon.
Thank you so much.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Today we have Yuri Montehali, a researcher and instructor at Lakeland College in the livestock production program. And he is here today to tell us about the Alberta Innovates grants that they have received for 2 of their research projects. And so thank you so much for being with us today, Yuri.
My pleasure.
And so first, Yuri, tell us a little bit about these 2 projects that are getting the grant funding from Alberta Innovates.
Well, those projects are really on applied research. We are here developing technologies that will be suitable for both bison and the sheep industry. It is a focus in Alberta, but certainly with broader application across the nation. And it's very nice to be working with Alberta Innovates, especially in the case of bison, that is a relatively smaller industry, and having their support is fundamental for this type of research.
How did you guys go about applying to get the grant from Alberta Innovates?
Well, it is an interesting process. For Alberta Innovates, for this particular fund, it's quite important to have an involvement with the industry and also with companies that would be developing technologies. So in the case of the bison, we have a massive support from the Canadian Bison Association. Like all the provincial entities are supporting this grant, the idea, and the project. And also you need to have a connection with SME, so companies that would be working on that. And for this particular grant, you're working with One Cup AI and also with Egg Sites. So One Cup AI is a Alberta-based company, and Egg Site it is a Ontario-based company.
What specifically is the grant money going to go towards for the 2 research projects with the bison and the sheep?
I'm leading the one on bison, so I speak a little more about this one. From the case of bison, you are coming with a new collection of technologies that you could be using for access bison in their natural production system. So bison are very particular when you're working with them. They don't like to be handled, and when you need to be moving the animals, that can create a big distress to the animals. Like a bison can be for several days without eating after being handled. So we are trying to fix that. And what we're coming up with, it is like a lot of the technologies that you can be assessing the animal when they are like in the production system, so remotely. And in our case, in your work with thermal images, visual image, and also LiDAR imaging. So then you can be monitoring the animals continuously, but without then perceiving that they're being monitored and checked. And with that, you can learn a lot about their performance, if there is any sick animal, and then work proactively with the animals without having to handle them. And in the case of the ship project, my colleague, Dr. Susan Marks, is the one leading that. I'm helping a little bit with that project. And it is a project on evaluating the number of offsprings that a ship would have. So they're come up with a blood test that they can be checking the animals during the pregnancy and then indicate how many offsprings the ship will have.
Is there any specific things that students in your guys' programs will be doing with these programs and learning? What will they learn from working with these research projects?
Oh, that's one of the coolest part of the project. We are very involved with students in this project. Right now I have 2 students that are full-time work on this bison project. And there are the ones like talking to different companies for sourcing technologies, talking to producers, coming to the farms and taking images of the animals and so on. So it is quite involved in, that's one of the missions of the college, that is to have this great environment for teaching and learning while supporting the industry. And I'm so pleased to be working with the students because it is an extension of what we do. And it's so nice to see them like getting ready, developing skills, getting preparing posters for conferences. So it's quite involving and it's very nice to be working on that.
Thank you so much for all the information today, Yuri, and we hope for the best for these research projects.
Thanks, Thomas. My pleasure. Yeah.
Taking another quick look at your 7-day forecast and off the show here, we will be seeing that rainfall continue, unfortunately, here in the border city. We will see some warmer temperatures for Thursday and Friday starting off the weekend, but we will be seeing a high chance of some precipitation all throughout the week. And then on the weekend, unfortunately, we will be seeing some thunderstorms coming up here, so get ready.
All right, thanks for that, Shelby. Getting ready for that rain tonight, and that's all the time we have for our first hour, though, of Primetime Local News. But stay with us. We'll have more news in our next hour.